Hey, you know that when I had originally got like factoids, but then after that discussion I had with you last time, um, I actually I doubled my position size, and it actually came out well, and so it made more than 100%. And then David and I was looking at it today during the pullback, and we just made a decision that I need to take some off the table. So I actually took a half a position off. It's all the rest that's in the market is all profits. So you added more to your position?
I dumped. Yeah, I figured like I was looking at, okay, so most of that money came from Litecoin,
Yeah,
and I basically dumped all my Litecoins in. I
yeah,
don't have any Litecoins now. It's all in Factoms.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the last slug I got was at 28, 29, 30. The right before the really big jump, right? It was literally right. I thought I was overpaying, but it actually went up even more, right? But no, this thing is Ty. This thing is worth like you can't just look at like, oh, it's. I mean, this thing is worth at least $50 million.
Yeah. Did you take some profits to cover your initial
No, I
investment?
didn't. I didn't because even after doubling, it's still only at a 15 million market cap.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was ridiculously undervalued at 10 cents. So like at 10 cents, it was like a 800,000, and
Yeah.
like I didn't. If I had gone to the meetup more, you see, if I had been going to those meetups, I would have known about this earlier because it was at 10 cents all summer, right? And I would have gotten to know those guys, and I wouldn't have 10 or 20,000 factums. I would have 100 or 200,000 factums, right?
Yeah.
Because they were at 10 cents, right?
Yeah.
And you had all summer to buy that. I mean, you had all summer to buy it. It was at 10 cents for like 6 months. It's not like we were in any hurry, right?
Yeah.
And here's one thing I noticed, Ty. It's a lot easier to buy the low than it is to sell the high, right?
Yeah.
It's like you look at the chart. You had 6, 7, 8 months to buy either Factums or Ethereum. It just sat there
Yeah.
for 8 months, right? You could have bought the low. We're talking here about 10 times move, 100 times move. Like, what difference if you pay 20% more or less, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to make a big difference in the big scheme of things, right? Because the moves are so huge, right? But anyway, what I'm saying is I didn't take any profits off because just the fundamentals are just so much higher than what it's trading for right now.
Okay. And how are you figuring out that the market cap is bigger, it should be bigger? What are you basing that on?
Okay, I'm basing it on what other investors are willing to pay. Okay, so when a VC goes in
Yeah.
and says, "I'm going to give you a 50 million valuation," do you think he's looking at the chart?
No, what's he looking at?
He's looking at the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were a big time investor and you say, "All right, I want to fund this startup," so you got to figure out like what valuation am I going to give them, right?
Yeah.
Like if I give them $10 million for 20% of the company, that's like a 50 million valuation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So what you're going to look at the chart and say that no, I'm going to give you a 5 million valuation because you were at 1. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Right. But okay. So I'm basing it on like there's two things I'm basing it on. Number one is based on going to the meetup and on the valuation that they're trying to get on the private markets, right, from venture capitalists, their Series A, right? And the second thing I'm basing it on is what the valuation is compared to other cryptocurrencies, right? And I'll give you a really stupid example. Like, why is Dogecoin worth 23 million?
They have a billion. They have a billion. They're supposed to come out with a billion Doge coins, and the value of it's at right now is like at, was it 7 cents? Oh no.
Yeah, no, Ty, that's not what I'm asking you. I can multiply, right? I know how many Dogecoins are out there. I know what they're trading at. You know, you just do a little multiplication. It's worth 23 million. Okay, yeah, mathematically, that's not hard to do, right?
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, like, why does Dogecoin have a 23? Like, what is supporting that valuation?
The utility that it has.
Yeah, but what is the difference between the utility Dogecoin has versus any other copycat coin? I mean, there's a picture of a dog on it.
Yeah.
It's a copy of Litecoin, okay? Like Litecoin is already a copy of Bitcoin, and Dogecoin is a copy of Litecoin.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was forked from Litecoin. I mean, like what does it have? It has nothing. Okay. But it's still at a $23 million valuation, right?
Yeah.
So, you have some things on the top 10 list, like Peercoin. I own quite a bit of Peercoin. It's got proof of stake, but Peercoin is one guy. You know that, right? Peercoin is just like one dude.
Yeah.
Right. This is actually an entire company. Factom has like an entire company, right? And so so I'm looking at like, okay, well, I spoke to 5 engineers. I know they have a sales team. They have a marketing team. They actually have something.
It's an entire.
They actually they actually have an entire business here, right? That they're gonna, and they have customers too. They have people that are paying them, right? So they have a product and they have customers and they have a sales team. They have engineers, and they have $3 million in funding, so they can fund all of their operations.
Yeah.
Right.
And
they're going to get they're going to close probably a $10 million round by the end of the month. Right. Now, what is that worth? I don't exactly know what it's worth, but I know it's worth a lot more than 9 million when I was telling you to go buy it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I listened to you. I went and bought it. I waited for fortunately, at the time that you told me to buy it, it was also technically at a good buy point too.
Yeah. So anyway, that one worked out really well. But
yeah.